Ever feel like you're doing everything right? Balancing work, family, life, and yet you get to the end of the day and you feel completely drained and disconnected. It's really not about effort. It might actually be that you're compartmentalizing your life in ways that are quietly exhausting you. Today, let's consider that. You've got a why. Let me help you bring it to work. Consider your life, be on purpose. Consider Jennifer. Hi everyone, I am Jennifer Meyer, also known as Consider Jennifer, and this is where we work to create better lives by bringing our why to work and leading with intention. Today, we're going to be exploring the hidden cost of compartmentalization and how dig in and get real can help professionals show up more fully, more sustainably, and more aligned. First, let's start with what is compartmentalization and why do we even do it? Compartmentalization is actually a natural psychological defense mechanism. It helps us manage conflicting emotions or roles by creating mental boundaries, right? They allow us to function in really high stress situations by putting the things aside that don't matter. Sometimes that's really necessary. In fact, healthy compartmentalization can help you shift between priorities without losing your values. It's really just recognizing, look, this isn't the time or place to process what I'm feeling right now, and then setting aside some time to revisit it when the space is right. So a couple of examples. A therapist who holds emotional space for clients all day, but then they're able to step fully into family life at home without bringing that stress and emotional load with them. Or a project manager who leads a really high stakes meeting and then shows up for their child's soccer game without bringing the tension of that meeting into the game with them. In both of these cases, the person stays grounded in their values with who they are. They pause. They're not suppressing. Unhealthy compartmentalization is different. And that's what happens when the separation becomes long-term. It's a habit and it disconnects you from your core self. You shift so much between roles and expectations that you actually begin to lose track of what really matters to you. And when that happens, you are no longer leading with integrity, right? You're managing your identity in order to survive. And over time, doing that leads to exhaustion, burnout, and disconnection. So if you don't take some time to dig in and define your values, compartmentalizing becomes the default mode. So you're constantly running two operating systems at the same time. And that's mentally and emotionally exhausting. It's what keeps you from showing up for yourself and for others in your life. So what do we do about it, right? Well, the easy answer is we integrate. But integration isn't about blending everything together. It's about living in alignment with your values across all areas of your life. So you show up consistently with clarity and purpose. And when you do that, you have increased resilience. You're conserving energy when your actions and your values are aligned. You have greater fulfillment. You feel more authentic no matter what role you're in, and you have better mental health because there's less internal tension, there's less stress, you have more peace. And you don't need a full life overhaul in order to be able to integrate. It's really just a small commitment, intentional steps every single day. And this all starts by defining your values and staying aligned. So you ask yourself all the time, what really matters to me? My framework, Dig In, really helps you get clear on your why and anchor your decisions to those values. And then, of course, you need to be able to respond with resilience when life gets messy, because it definitely will. And get real is what helps ground yourself and prioritize things when things get crazy. It all helps when you're not, without losing the momentum that you're trying to build. Most importantly, you have to create some space to reflect. Autopilot leads to compartmentalization. So if you don't purposefully set aside time to check in and ask yourself, are my actions aligned with my values? Then you're going to fall into the trap of over compartmentalizing your life. Now, Get Real and Dig In are tools that I have and I use to help me stay aligned. So I'm not reacting, but I'm leading again with energy, with clarity, and purpose. So here's my challenge. What's one value, one thing that you can prioritize and begin carrying across both your professional and personal lives this week? Drop it in the comments. I really love to hear how it is that you're bridging this gap and making integration work in your life. And if this message resonates, please follow along and be sure to check out my website for talks and services on these ideas for your teams or your organization. And as always, guys, remember, consider your life beyond purpose. See you next time. Bye.